But let's start with the talking point that's been going on forever. We're all getting antsy here.
Yeah.
What is the latest, Andy, with Pete Alonso?
Sal, this is a confusing situation, and I can tell you that the people involved in this situation still don't know what's going to happen, where Pete Alonso is going to end up. I can say that if this is going to happen with Alonso and the Mets, it's probably going to happen pretty soon. You got spring training opening next week. You've got both a player that I'm sure wants to know what's going to happen in his life. You got a team that needs to know what's going to happen with them and how they can plan for their season. So this has got to be, for me, something to watch in the near future, whether it's hours or days or whatever. The people involved here need resolution. Look, we know that the Mets have offered him what is an above-market salary for what first basemen are currently making. That's known. That's out there. So is Pete going to take it from the Mets or not? I think everybody needs to know pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, goodness, at some point you'd say that both sides. We already got to this point, it felt like a couple weeks ago when you reported that the Mets felt like he was going to sign elsewhere and they were ready to move on. And now...
Look, as we know now, I'm not breaking news here to say there have been conversations since, and what changed, the Mets believed he was moving on because he turned them down. And it's weeks later, and he hasn't signed anywhere. So it's like, okay, is this going to work or not? And like I said, it's just something, it's coming down to it here. Like, stay tuned. It's got to happen soon, one way or the other.
All right, Jose, you've been obviously around the team, following the team even from afar here. What do you think? Do you think the Mets need to bring back Alonso to complete their offseason?
100%. I feel like if they don't sign Pete, it's going to be a big mistake for the Mets. I mean, you know, Pete Alonso, he coming from the system. He play every single day. I mean, it's hard to find the guy to do that. And beside that, the guy hit 35 to 40 homer every year. So he go in the community. Like I said before, he coming through the system. I mean, just give it 5 years to the guy. I mean, he's 30. There's 5 years to the guy. I mean,
spoken like a true big leaguer. Yeah.
Well, you know, just make it happen. I mean, you know, if Pete not gonna be in the Met lineup this year, it's gonna be a hole there. I mean, it's gonna feel the same. I mean, if I'm a manager from the other side and 9-inning tie game, and Pete Alonso coming to the box, I say he can beat you. So throw the ball around him. So that's the kind of player that he is. So 5 years to the guy, please.
There you go.
I love it.
Let's get the GM perspective,
right? I mean, but you know, here's the thing: if they didn't feel like they needed him, they wouldn't continue to have the dialogue, right? So they've moved the deadline. They said, okay, well, we think he's going elsewhere, and this has gone on and dragged out for a while. The hard part too on this is that you get to spring training and you feel the pressure from the players. The front office feels that, and so does Pete to some degree. You know that the players are going to be calling him, hey, where are you? You need to come down here. So you want to try to prevent that if you can, and try to get this done before you get down there to spring training. The hardest part is last year, Scott Boras signed a couple of guys, Blake Snell and Matt Chapman. You know when Matt Chapman signed? March 3rd. Can you imagine us continuing to have this conversation? Blake Snell, March 24th. Like, that is really late. So pushing Scott Boras is really hard. The only real way to do it is to give more money and go to a number that's a little closer to what they're asking if you want to get it done in the next 48 hours.
My big thing yesterday, Jose, I was saying that I think it would be a mistake at this point for both sides to come back together where it felt like they were separating from a player's perspective, and obviously you could do that better than any of us because you were a player. If you're Pete and you feel maybe disrespected or hurt because you're not getting the contract that you feel you deserve, would coming back for less than you think you're worth, would that impact you as a player even if it's a year deal with an opt-out or 2 years with an opt-out?
No, I don't think so, because as a player you got one job to do, is play the game. It's no matter how much do you make. I mean, it happened to me when I went to Miami. So, but Peter, he in different situation because the thing I think 2 years ago, he tried to give extension to him and he turned it down.
Right.
So, and this year they say we got 70 million for 3 years. That's a good money. I mean, what the market seeing Peter right now, they say that's what he earned. But just get to 5 years. I mean, I think he's going to take the 5 years, a little bit more money, and he's going to stay in New York.
You know, Jose, I hear you on that I appreciate the player perspective on the 5 years. I don't think they get there based on, hearing this back and forth.
He's 30. I mean, he got another good age year.
He's still young.
He's still young. And I'm sure he and other players appreciate what you're saying there.
Love Peter.
We appreciate you coming in with good hard opinion.
It's happened to me, but with me it was different because they don't offer anything. I wait for the last moment
Right.
to go to Miami. And the Miami say, oh, if you don't take this money, we're going to take it from the
The
table.
Mets didn't offer you anything.
No, nothing.
Nothing.
Yes, thank you for everything you do for the organization, and again, good luck to you.
Did they tell you they weren't going to offer, or did it just, was it just silence?
We waiting for the last moment, and they never offer anything. And when I take the money in Miami, a lot of fans, they wasn't happy with me. I say, but why? But I had to play somewhere. I mean, I got $106 million in Miami that I want to turn this down, and when the Mets don't offer anything, so,
Well, at least with
Part of the
Pete.
game.
So with Pete, they've offered him a deal 2 years ago. They've offered him at least one deal that we know of, right? That's been reported now with the 3 years, whatever it was, $70 million.
70s, 80s.
He's been turning them down, so it's a lot different from your situation.
Yeah. Well, it is, and I go back to that. The Mets, they were like trying to come up with an offer. There was hypotheticals there, but there was nothing that was ever serious. And even Sandy Alderson at the time said, I can't make an offer right now to Jose. And so, he understood. Everybody kind of most in the front office understood that he needed to go. I mean, that was a huge deal at the time, over $100 million.
I never understand because I never want to leave New York.
Yeah.
So Pete, he need to feel the same way because his fan base is here in New York. I mean, just make something happen. I mean, quick because the spring training is around the corner.
Yeah. I tell you what, it's great having you here to hear that because we can get caught up in, oh, this is my reporting and this is what I'm hearing and this is what's going to happen. But you zoom out, you're coming from a clubhouse perspective and a player perspective, and just like, the guy's a star, bring him back, get it done. And I appreciate hearing that.
And that's how I felt about a month and a half ago. Just give him the 4 years, 120, whatever it may be. At this point, I personally feel like the damage has been done. Coming up.